Hello, YouTube. Just want to talk to you about managed returns. It's something which I've personally opted out of up until now, but it's come to my attention that a lot of other sellers have been forced into it this week. I think eBay has now put a cap on how many people can opt out of it. I think they're starting to phase it in as mandatory now, as what we're seeing. And yeah, I just want to give you my thoughts on it. I'm just absolutely not for managed returns right now. Um, the old way of doing things, the way I'm currently doing things, is just so much more efficient. If a buyer contacts me via the member to member and they're unhappy with the item, we're happy to accept a return. I just give them the return address, maybe a return label, and they just send it back, issue the refund. They're happy, we're happy. 9 times out of 10 they leave us positive feedback anyways, and that's it, case closed. This whole idea of managed returns is just so forced. We don't need a third party to come in and tell us how to facilitate the return feature. We've been doing that ourselves as sellers for years without any problems. We haven't had one issue with return when we've handled it ourselves. But the big issue with managed returns, on the surface of things, I can see how it can actually improve efficiency and the service. But what I don't like is the fact that it's open to exploitation from the buyer. And let me explain why. Okay, before I get into that, let me just quickly explain what managed returns is. Managed returns is when a buyer wants to return an item for whatever reason. It's the wrong size, the wrong color, they found a better deal elsewhere. It really doesn't matter the reason, they just make up a reason. You've been forced into it, so you have to accept the return. And eBay step in. They give the buyer a return label. If eBay deems it the seller's fault, the seller pays for the return shipping. If it's the buyer's fault, the buyer pays for the return shipping. And this is based on eBay's perception, based on what the buyer clicks when they go through the process. Now, the problem with that is that buyers, generally speak, when it comes to returns, when it comes to things of that nature, they're not always genuine. Sometimes we've had it ourselves where a buyer would come up with a crazy reason and say, I want to return it. Or maybe they would say item isn't as described, when the item is 100% as described. Or it's a user issue, so they'll say it doesn't work, or open up a SNAD, or they'll never take onus that the issue lies with the way they're operating or not operating the item, or something that they didn't read in the listing. Even to this day, we've got customers that don't read our listings correctly, then blame us for that. And if they're doing that now under a SNAD case, or just in general, think of what they're going to do when managed returns comes into place. They're going to go straight into that console. They're going to click fault of seller, just so they can avoid paying. And what's even more crazy is if when you couple this in with the return policy that eBay's setting, where they can now return up until 60 days. I think it's the maximum now, but I think they're trying to push through 3 months over Christmas, and PayPal's pushing through 180 days in general. So with the return policies being longer, managed returns doesn't favor you, because it could be used in concert. So now buyers know that over the Christmas period, for example, they could buy November and return the item in, say, January. Now, with that, they can now say it's the seller's fault. And there's an issue with the item when it's not. They just don't want the Christmas tree anymore because now Christmas is over, and now the seller has to pay for that return. So it can be exploited very heavily. Another issue, some other good sellers of mine that sell very low value and small items, they're saying that the cheapest tariff under the managed returns for a small letter size packet, maybe large letter size, so very small, very slender, they're saying that the return cost via managed returns is £2.78 tracked, whereas Royal Mail prices are closer to 150. If you've got an OBA account, it could be even cheaper than that. So the prices which are within the managed returns are actually more expensive than what you can get in the high street, or if to say you've got a package with the courier. So for every single return, you could be potentially losing money, and this is at the cheapest price point. If you're selling something big and heavy, let's just say a Christmas tree, or you do furniture, or something that size, something very weighty, the deal you've got with the courier may well be cheaper than the deal which Royal Mail is going to offer via their managed returns. So you can lose money for a buyer returning the item, potentially fraudulently returning the item. So this is why I've personally opted out up until now. I don't know how long I'll be able to opt out until, because a lot of people are telling me that it's been forced upon them today or yesterday. So it might just be as what might be just as well. It might be forced upon me very soon. But so what do you guys think? Have you opted into managed returns? Did you opt in early? Have you been forced into it now? If you have been forced into it, what do you think? Are you happy with managed returns? Do you feel there's a better way of doing things, or just tell me what you think? Comment down below, subscribe, and let us know. Also, check out my new ebook at powersellerresearch.com, and if you're not onto this eBay hustle, get started.